9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Welcome back, WWT fam. This is going to be the official Raw Post Show. Yes, Monday Night Mare. Appreciate you guys joining me for the watch along. And if you just watched Monday Night Raw, you saw the ending with heart of your War Games main event match. Well, possibly main event match with Solo standing tall with Bronson Reed over Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed getting his lick back against Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match, and them standing tall at the end of the program. We'll go from top to bottom of the show. Very quick show, and if you saw the spoilers, this was a pre-taped episode. You might not have missed much, but we started the show with the ladies, similar to like we did last week with Liv Morgan calling out Jade and Bianca, and we now have our women's War Games match set up with the reveal of Rhea Ripley returning. So essentially, it's going to be Team Liv versus Team Rhea, with Rhea being flanked by the big three, Jade, Bianca, Naomi, along with Io Sky, with Liv, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, and your SmackDown Women's Champion, Nia Jax. That's going to be a very interesting match. Of course, the ladies got an action there, Rhea getting the upper hand, but that's going to be a very good Women's War Games match, more than what you can ask for. I know a lot of us here at WWT have been advocating for the NXT ladies to get a shot there, but that'll be really fun as a War Games match as we go into a Saturday Night Main Event next month, as we head into Netflix season. Good to see Rhea back and healthy as she can. She was sporting a face mask to protect the broken orbital bone, but not enough to keep her out of action. As far as matches tonight, we had, I believe, 4 total. Next up, we actually had a mixed match challenge, which was really cool to see. I love mixed match challenge. Loved it on Facebook. Watch. Wish it would come back. But we had American Made, comprised of Chad Gable and Ivy Nile, taking on Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega pick up the win. And post-match was probably the most interesting thing, because we saw Chad Gable pretty much smacking up the Creed brothers, saying that he demands greatness out of them because they were kind of smirking, I guess, that they picked up a loss. And it was a very weird moment. You saw the Creed brothers kind of do their thing and Hulk up a little bit to where maybe they're responding to it. Maybe we see a more aggressive American Made as a result of this. But the LWO have a leg up on American Made with them getting the victory, that being Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Then we had a backstage segment where Gunther was asking Ludwig Kaiser if he's still the ring general. So maybe that promo last week kind of got to our world champion. Maybe he's not believing himself as much as he used to. He tells Kaiser he needs to stand on his own too and make a name for himself. Don't know what we're doing with Kaiser. I'll get to that in a second. But we saw Gunther walk past Damian Priest backstage, attempt to attack Damian Priest from behind, and Priest actually got the upper hand. And when he laid over Gunther, I believe after a low blow, he says, "You may be a general in the ring, but in the streets, I'm a king." So I guess just adding a little bit more flavor to that rivalry as we get back to a rematch from SummerSlam where Priest lost the title to Gunther. But interesting what they're doing with Priest there. Next up, we had Sheamus taking on Braun Breaker for Intercontinental title. We know that's the one title that eludes Sheamus in his career. Never held that title. Great match. Probably, I think this was the longest match of the night, if I'm being honest. A lot of hard hitting, a lot of action back and forth. And I think there's a legit case for Sheamus to capture that title. We did not get a finish, however. And we didn't get a finish because we mentioned earlier Ludwig Kaiser, who interfered in the match and not only took out Sheamus, but took out Braun Breaker as well. So Braun Breaker retains. He was attacked by Ludwig Kaiser, and then Ludwig Kaiser also attacked Sheamus and said he will never leave Sheamus alone until he ends him. So I think that's going to veer away. Maybe it's a triple threat, but also interesting to see how Braun Breaker is included in that, because I got to believe Braun Breaker not going to take no shit off nobody. So he'll probably be involved in that in some way or form. Next, we saw the bloodline, the OG bloodline, the Usos and Sami Zayn, trying to convince Seth Rollins to join their team, where Seth Rollins says he will never stand side by side with a tyrant like Roman Reigns again. Uh, Sammy brought us some interesting facts that last year's War Games, Seth was able to stand by Cody, who, remember, they had their series and Cody kept coming up over on Seth. There was real bad blood there, and they were able to stand side by side. Seth says he appreciates it, but he's still out. We get notice that we're going to have an official War Games Advantage match next week with Bianca Belair taking on Nia Jax. Don't want to miss that. That'll be a really good match. Our next match was the War Raiders taking on Dom and Carlito, which was a good match. I would say good action from that part of the Judgment Day, but this made the War Raiders look very strong heading into their feud, only for Finn and JD to come out post-match to attack the War Raiders and get the advantage. Don't understand why they just didn't do that during the match. It gave Dom another loss. Carlito looks lost still as a member of Judgment Day. But, yeah, eventually we're going to get our tag team titles defended against the War Raiders. They're owed a shot. Who knows if it takes place at War Games? We don't know if it'll take place at Saturday Night Main Event next month, but that is set to happen. Another cool moment based off last week, we saw a lot of what happened on SmackDown with the Bloodline. We saw what happened last week with Karrion Kross, the Final Testament, and the Wyatts pretty much setting them up. The Miz and Karrion Kross setting the Wyatts up to be ambushed. We got a video package from Bo Dallas tonight, who, if you go back and look at this video package, it looks like Bray a lot. Like, if you really have to pay attention to the voice, because if you just look at just the video, it looks like Bray. He's saying he never wanted this, and that the Final Testament pretty much have to reap what they sow for their actions. So I don't know when this blow-off is going to happen, but clearly it won't be a War Games match. I think it would be a fun Saturday Night Main Event match on network television, but if we can just get the traditional 5-on-5 match would be amazing if they pulled that off, just because that's what Survivor Series is at its core. So I would hope that they keep that in the fold in some case or form. You know what? Next up, we had a very interesting backstage segment, and we had Kofi kind of looking down in the dumps that he was approached by, I guess they're still considered Alpha Academy, Tozawa, Otis, and Maxine. And they're congratulating him on 10 years. They're saying he's one of their favorite superstars and whatnot like that. And Woods is saying, like, hey, we just haven't been on the same page. They're trying to talk. Kofi seems like there's still some animosity there. As you know, I'm wearing New Day merchandise because I'm still waiting on the 10-year celebration we were supposed to get last week. So apparently this is supposed to be next week. Boza told me that's actually the Thanksgiving Day. Who knows what they're going to do and what this leads to. But Woods pretty much threw Otis under the bus and said that they're not a real team and that they have no business trying to give advice to the greatest tag team of all time. Challenged Alpha Academy to a match next week, which Kofi looks like he didn't even want to be a part of. So you're going to get Alpha Academy versus the New Day next week. I don't know what this means. And I'm going to continue to keep pointing out that Kofi has on a Majin emblem chain. If you are a fan of Dragon Ball Z, that has relevance to it. He's worn that chain on the outside of his clothing the past few weeks. So for everyone that thinks that Woods is the one turning heel, and don't be surprised. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it's not a split, and I hope it has something to do with E actually coming back into the fold somehow. But you got to remember that the New Day started off as major heels. So who knows? But we're going to get more answers as we continue to draw this thing out. Main event time, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins. I didn't think this was going to be a real match. Turns out that it was. We got a full match. I think 2 commercial breaks in between. Commercial breaks have been dominating these 2-hour Raws because these episodes now fly by without that third hour. So January 6th can't come soon enough for 3 hours of Monday Night Raw to see how more things can get placed on the show. But Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, not even the match didn't even start before the new bloodline came out to the ringside. So that was Jacob and Gorillas of Destiny. And then didn't take long for the Usos and Sami Zayn to come out and clear house. A lot of one-on-one action. One thing I liked about this match is that we saw Seth Rollins bring out a lot of his aerial bag. We saw him hit a lion saw him hit a springboard, a swanton. Both men had their moments in this match. You would think that Seth would go over, but if you knew anything that happened Friday, them continuously trying to get Seth to join the team, Bronson Reed stood tall at the end of the match because Solo Sikoa was actually in the building and provided just enough of a distraction for Bronson Reed to get the upper hand, hit a tsunami, get a pinfall victory over Seth. Solo and Bronson Reed stand tall at the end of the match. I have to believe on this Friday's episode of SmackDown that Seth Rollins may be an appearance. But here we advance the storyline. Right now, your men's War Games match is practically 5-on-4. The new bloodline has Bronson Reed on their team, while the OG bloodline only has 4 members to go into the cage right now. So we don't know what's going to happen. If you watch the SmackDown watch along with Honey, you saw that Roman Reigns tried to call Paul Heyman, and that call did not go through. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get more answers. I still have to believe at some point Sammy asked Kevin to join the team, which is going to allow Kevin to really blow his lid and lose his shit. But we'll see. Boja says for a taped Raw, it was okay. Advanced storylines for Survivor Series. We got New Day versus Alpha Academy next week, and Bianca versus Nia for the War Games advantage. And yeah, I mean, next week's Monday Night Raw is in Glendale, Arizona. You guys know, Arizona State alum. I actually might go to the BYU game this weekend, so maybe I'm in the building for Monday Night Raw next week to see everything firsthand in Glendale, Arizona. So a lot of things got advanced tonight. It felt like a very fast-paced Monday Night Raw, but we did get answers. We got the new bloodline standing tall at the end of the match. So we're going to continue to get more answers as we head towards November 30th, and we still have this domino known as the final boss that still has to fall. And we don't know what's going to happen with that because he has to be involved in some type of way. And we know that Red One movie completely tanked, so we might get another full-time Rock run. So who knows? But that was Monday Night Raw. That was your watch along. This is your official post show. I thought it was a good show. So until next time, thank you, Boza, for joining me on the post show. Appreciate everybody to join me for the watch along. We're going to have our next, our next hangout is going to be Wednesday for WWT Live. Make sure you lock in with us. We have a lot of shows. We're going to have Courtney with the Dynamite watch along on Wednesday, of course, WWT Live. We have a bunch of interviews on the website and the YouTube channel. Of course, we have a bunch of articles coming out every single day promoting some of your favorite content creators, promoting some of your favorite independent wrestlers, as well as wrestlers on some of your favorite shows. So until next time, y'all, it's the mayor. You can find me on Twitter at says, on the gram at said is the answer. And of course, here every Monday night for the Raw Watch Along. I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate y'all. And before I say peace, buy some merch.
Hey, yo, you. Yeah, you that's watching this. You sitting on the couch staring at the screen not knowing what you want to do like this is an online college. Are you tired of wearing shirts that make you look like an extra stuck in catering? Do you want to step your wrestling swag game up to the next level? Then Women's Wrestling Talk has got you covered. Like literally. Are you for life in pink or black and white? Or maybe you're the EST and people need to respect you accordingly. Want to put some pride in your stride and show off the muscle in your hustle? Then make sure you check out the WWT store. Not now, but right now. Alright? What you waiting for? Head to www.talkpodstore.com and don't make me fight you. Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www